Hi, my name is Leonardo, and I talk about going global. A world constant growth civilization tend to compete with each other to occupy the first place in terms of innovation. This is one of the most trending topics today. Research and innovation are two of the issues that go hand in hand. One complements the other. Large companies are investing in research of different genres. For example, technology, communication, dealing with others, trends, growing markets, etc. This situation has forced these companies to create a department of specialty in the subject. Through this department, companies manage to understand the fluctuation of the markets, reduce costs, and optimize resources such as labor and capital. This situation has forced leaders to innovate also in themselves. But how is this possible? Well, we ourselves know that we must be constantly learning. Hence, the fact of the possibility of student master and doctorates. Day by day, we are learning new things, new topics, new strategies, and skills, which we can apply to only in our works but also in our daily life. The more prepared we are, the better chance we have to standing among other people. And at the same time, we have great possibilities to spring a better job. Another advantage about innovation companies is the fact of having innovative leaders. Together, they are the bridge to connect business internationally. A true global leader acts as a connector of resources and talent across cultural and political boundaries, steadily dedicated in finding new ways to create value. Leaders who possess a global mindset are able to interpret and decode situations from multiple, even competing points of view. They have an insatiable interest to learn about other cultures. They care to understand other people's perspective and suspend their judgments to do so. They are knowledgeable about economy and political issues around the world and can grasp the inherent complexity of international affairs from multiple nationalist perspectives. Finally, they nurture relationships with associates and friends around the world and have a unique ability to transfer cultural barriers and cultivate trust. Within all these advantages, there are different concerns that the person faces if he wants to be global. For example, growth inequality. According to the 2040 Pew Global Attitude Survey, inequality is perceived as the big problem both in sub-Saharan African countries and the United States. The income gaps within Asia and America persist in Europe and together grow in Africa. The second one, the persistence of unemployment, refers to the phenomena by virtue of which economies that they are emerging from recessions show economic growth at the same time their maintenance, and in the same case even decrease of their lived employment. Leadership deficit. 86% of the respondents on the global agenda consider that the world suffers a leadership crisis. This lack is due to the failure of the international community to address the main issues on the agenda in recent years. The weakening of democracy, lack of the credibility of institutions, both public and private, in their leader and in their processes, governance and the love of their conversations and citizens began to skip thanks to the internet and social networks. The rise of pollution in the developing world. The developing world has learned a lot from Europe and North America about business models, infrastructures, and technology. However, the planet's carbon capacity does not allow of the continue of that path. Considering these situations, what we can do to be content with the global community is have an open mind. This is an achievement by knowing about yourself and our heritage. We must not forget where we came from and the path we have traveled to get where we are. Educate yourself. It is necessary to learn about current and the past events. Knowledge is power. Involving yourself in your community. Being part of the global community starts in your local community. share stories about the background and listen and other people's stories. Travel to another places. Finally, traveling to other communities is the one of the best ways to learn about other cultures and customs. In the same way, it can be a great opportunity to teach other communities about your culture. The main values of a global person are utility, be pragmatic and goal-oriented; integrity, do what we say; respect, recognize personal limits; ecology, always work within the well-formulated results for another person; creativity, be free builders of our own lives; develop, will form mistakes and be open to possibility. Love, use the second position with others; freedom, begin about the choice and allow others to make choice for themselves; diversity, do not fear a difference, recognize, honor and value difference among others; professionalism, work with competence, creativity and joy; flexibility, have more possibilities in behavior. Uses there are attitudes that support globalization and being global. There are certain behaviors, ideologies, and attitudes that go against being global. A good example for this situation is a resistance to change. This is something that occurs in the companies when it comes to innovation, more focusing on technology, issues, and behavior. Another attitude against being the global is the lack of respect. Respect is something that must be present of the people, regardless of who they are, as Benito Juarez mentions. The right to respect for others is peace. And it is totally right. When there is respect in another middle, the better environment is created. We need to be global both in business and our daily lives because much of the behavior and relationships begin at home and how we develop within our social circles. We must stop thinking and encouraging our knowledge will be beneficial only in our work. This is a totally wrong truth. The nurturing of knowledge helps us to be better people. Knowledge is power. Another example is to think that the second language is used only in the business, but what happens when we visit another city or country with a different language? Languages are means of communication. Promoting knowledge based on the can be the best way to keep the cultures and customs of each nation alive. In conclusion, we are citizens when we are subject to civil and political rights of a particular state and subject to its law. But being a citizen is much more than having been born in that country and being able to vote in elections to elect your representatives. It is to feel part of a social and political structure, and above all, to assume responsibilities and obligations is the construction of a society.